Hey guys, Kiyu here, and I want to first off say sorry for all the lack of videos and content as of recent, just because I've been really busy with school, and there's been a lot of what do you call that? Sorry, I hit my stopwatch here. Anyway, there's homework, and it's been exam week last week, so really busy. But I'm gonna try and get back in the cycle of things. Anyway, this video, regardless, is a new vlog on my thoughts of the Apple iPad, which was launched, I believe, last week during my exam week, so that's why I didn't make a video of it. Basically, it is Apple's. I'm sure a lot of you have seen pictures. I'm going to be posting pictures and talking about the specs in the beginning, so if you want to jump through that, you can. I'll be getting to my opinions of the pros and cons a little later on. Sorry. So first off, the tech specs. The Apple iPad is basically a cross between the iPhone, which is running my stopwatch right now, so I don't pass the 10-minute limit, and the MacBook. Trying to find a baseline between something that's portable, like the phone that you can, access through anywhere through 3G or Wi-Fi, have internet access, and still maintain that power that the MacBooks maintain, and, the same interface as an iPhone or iPod Touch. So they came up with the iPad, a laptop that's portable, has a big screen, and has the iPod or iPhone interface, or OS I should say, or something very similar. Anyway, so the product itself, tech specs, mainly the whole design, I was impressed, but they didn't innovate as much. Now I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that later on, but I'm going to post some pictures up to the sides or, in front of me or whatever. I'll leave links in the video description as well. Anyways, it's a 9.7-inch screen, that's, I believe, or it's a 9.7-inch diagonal LED backlit, so it's really, rich color, comes on instant on. That's a great thing about LED. And in terms of height, the product's 9.56 inches, and the width, so how wide it is 7.47. Now the great thing about it is the depth. You know how thin it is? At 0.5 inches, so half an inch. It's really, really thin. Or if you're thinking about that in millimeters, that's 13.4 millimeters. And weight, it's about, I believe, 1.5 pounds for the Wi-Fi model, and if you want the 3G model, they have to install a radio and everything for 3G signal, and that's 1.6. And the 3G, I believe, will be pertaining depending on they're talking about, they still have to get that set up with regions, because obviously you're going to need a provider like AT&T. In my case, SoftBank is a provider for the iPhones over here in Japan, so it'll be the same thing with the iPad, I'm guessing. And I do have some specs that I was supposed to read off here. Oh yeah, the display, as we're talking about that, it's an oleophobic, and I keep referring to the iPhone because it's very similar. It's oleophobic screen, just like the iPhone, so you don't get a lot of smudge marks. You do get some, but it's also multi-touch, so obviously you'll be able to do all your gestures and all stuff like that. It has the built-in sensors like the ambient light sensor, like the MacBook Pro, so it can sense the keyboard, that type of thing. Accelerometer, you can turn it, go into landscape mode, portrait mode, etc. Now the hardware, the processor is only 1 GHz processor. You may think that's not too powerful, but it's a custom Apple A4 designed high-performance CPU. Also maintains good battery life. With that CPU, I believe you get to 25-watt-hour rechargeable lithium polymer battery, but it gets 10 hours of, it says Wi-Fi, video, music, that type of stuff. It's a decent battery. Input and output, like the I/O, I believe it has a 30-pin dock connector, just like similar to the bottom of an iPhone or any iPod in general. The 3.5mm jack for your music. Built-in speaker, I believe the speaker is at the bottom, or maybe, I'm not sure. The microphone is at, I believe, integrated either into the, I believe you can plug it in or maybe integrated. And it has a SIM card tray that will be dealing with the 3G models. So, etc. Let's go on. Scrolling down for requirements, you'll be able to use it on iTunes, obviously. This will hook up just like an iPod would, or your iPod, or your iPhone. And it supports both Mac and Windows, so it'll be cross-platform, so that'll be good. Anyways, now the product also introduces something called the iBook Store, which is a new store coming in between the App Store and the iTunes Store, which will basically allow you to read your ebooks on the actual, iPad itself. Now, Lifehacker did a really great chart, which I'm going to post up here, on if the iPad costs too much, comparing it to great competitors out there, which will be, going against like the Amazon Kindle, the DX, also made by Amazon. And compare prices. They're all around the same price. Some are cheaper, some, around $100 cheaper. Some are the same price. But the great thing that stood out for the iPad is it has a bigger screen, so it's 9.7 inch. Not only that, it's not using e-ink. Most use e-ink, so it's kind of easier to read and saves on the screen, and it's easier on your eyes. This LED screen is really nice, has a lot of rich colors, so that might, affect some people. Some people may like that. So it's a nicer color. It's 16 gigabytes by default. Most of their ebook readers, I believe, are 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes by default. So you have like 16, 32, and 64 are your three capacity models you can get. It has Wi-Fi and 3G, and it's multifunction. You can do just music, you can do your internet. So it's a really, really great device. And I think if you're choosing between a Kindle and an iPad, I would personally go with the iPad just because it has all the extra functionality within the product itself. So I'll post that chart again, or I'll also leave a link in the video description. Alright, moving on. My pros and cons of the actual product. Pros, it's a portable device. It's not really a tablet. It's not really a, like I said, it's a real big mix just because of the versatility of the device that it has. It does music, it does internet, it does video. Especially it handles HD video great. So it's a little bit more powerful than a tablet, and it can do a lot of other stuff. Like I said, it's also an ebook reader. That's another market it's going to be competing in. So it's really smart move on Apple's part. So it's a portable device. Another good pro is it's Wi-Fi and 3G. There's separate models depending on what you want. Whether you're going to be on the go a lot and you won't be having Wi-Fi, or whether you'll be using it at home or at the office where you always have a good Wi-Fi connection. So internet is a must on this device just because it really categorizes the device. And I believe what he said was it's like holding the internet in your hands because it's so thin, it's so simple to go through. And it's a really, really awesome, it's a nice device. So a lot of people already use this, or they use an iPod Touch. Imagine it being a bigger screen, thinner, and just, much more portable. I guess not as portable as this, but nonetheless, moving on. App compatibility. All the existing apps on the iPhone, so the apps like Facebook, MySpace, what else is there? Tweety, all those apps, they're going to exist and they're going to work. No, developers don't need to do anything. It's just going to work. So it's really, really good. There is an SDK, however, specifically for the iPad, so people who are using the iPad or want to develop apps, they can develop apps specifically for the iPad's multi-touch, and they can do stuff that they to involve the accelerometer and involve the portrait mode and landscape mode. All the existing apps will work fine. You can even full screen them on the 9.7-inch display, or you can play in the native resolution of the iPhone. But with this new SDK, it'll enable more developers to do more stuff with a bigger screen and the new features built into the display. And there's a lot of, I believe, examples shown at the keynote, and EA, MLB, they did a lot of cool stuff with the app, so it's really, I'm looking forward to see what they do with the SDK. Alright, and the price point is another, huge pro. A lot of people said $799, they're rumoring it'll be $1,000, usually Macs are $1,000 up. It starts baseline model $499, $500, great price point. Now the price point, if I believe you're reading here, there's two separate models. The Wi-Fi models, 16 gigabyte, $500, 32 gigabyte, $600, 64 gigabyte, $700. So you're spending $700 at the max for 64 gigabytes of storage and a Wi-Fi. Now if you want Wi-Fi and 3G, it's going to start at 16 gigabytes for $630, 32 gigabytes for $730, and 64 gigabyte model will only be $830. So it doesn't even get above that $900 price point, depending on the accessories you add. So it's a really good price point. It says here, another unbelievable feature is the price, because it's a great device for a great price. I didn't even mean that to rhyme, but it does. Anyway, moving on to the cons. Cons of the device, it lacks ports, no USB, FireWire, etc. You have to get, you can get dock connectors, which would plug into the actual bottom of the 30-pin connector, which is really going to be your universal port, that 30-pin connector. So it lacks ports. Camera, a lot of people rumor that it'll have a camera. I'm not too, shooken up that it doesn't have a camera, but, that would have been a cool thing to add, but I'm sure in the updates, further models they will. The design, like I said, it wasn't something that really innovated me. Not something that really they could have done better. It's more of, a simple design, but Apple is simple. I was hoping they could kind of reinvent it. The interface as well, because it's kind of just a, the iPhone interface, slide to unlock, all that stuff. I was hoping they can do a little bit something different with it. But nonetheless, it is still a good device and has features that separate it from the iPod and iPhone. And lastly, it didn't do multitasking. I was hoping, the iPhone doesn't do multitasking, but I was hoping with a bigger processor and a bigger screen space that, you can do a little bit more in terms of, running apps in the background and browsing the web and watching videos, all that stuff. Anyways, my overall opinion, because I still have like a minute left, the price is great. Great for a Mac. I think this is going to be a standard device in terms of ebook and the new standard for tablets, just because everything's going to have to start competing with this device, because Apple, when it sets out to make a product, it really sets out to take that market. And I think that this product, despite the rumors, despite everybody saying that you didn't have this, it didn't have that, this is really going to categorize in the market in terms, really capitalize, I should say, in terms of ebook, in terms of a portable device, a powerful, tablet, all of that stuff. The App Store is going to make it the better. iBooks are going to make it better. Developers are really going to, push the product to its limits, and we'll see more updates. Anyways, that's my opinion on the iPad. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to getting it in the future. Maybe a device I can have, hopefully. Nonetheless, love to hear your opinions, comments, emails, whatever, video responses. Don't forget to check out my website, adrianstech.com, and email me at any questions, concerns at adrianstech@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Catch me in the next video.